Well, it's been a few months with the M11, and I just wanted to give you an update on everything. I have been through two copies. This is my third. The first one froze up completely, Leica replaced it immediately. The second one started freezing. It gave the same characteristics as the one prior to it, and I didn't want to chance it because I do use it for professional work. And the people at Leica were nice enough to take care of it immediately. So this copy it has been spotless, perfect so far, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I am using this 100% for all my professional work. And I get a couple comments every once in a while about the studio work. Can't believe you're using it in the studio and with strobes, and I absolutely love it with strobes. I use Profoto remotes. I use the Connect remote because it's small. I use the Nikon brand. It works fine. It's obviously manual. They are coming out with a Leica branded remote. I don't know if I'm going to buy it unless they put one into the Connect form, because I do like that small form factor. I hate something big on top of the camera. Even at events, putting a flash on top of the camera just drives me insane. But and I have been using the SF30 flash with this, or SF40 flash. In TTL it works absolutely wonderfully, believe it or not. Anyway, getting back to the camera. So the 60 megapixel, 36 megapixel, and 18 megapixel, I have shot them all. I like the 36 for size. I haven't tested it with the low light to see if I do get a benefit from 36 in low light, or high ISO if you will. But the 60, I shot an event the other day, and I'll throw some photos at the end of this that I've done with the camera so far, and it was phenomenal. Like, I'm really pleased with the low light performance of the camera. Now, my daughter, she's young and she's into the whole absolutely spotlessly, perfectly clean photos, because of Instagram and what's out there right now. So she'll look at them and say, well, that looks a little grainy or pixelated or whatever she calls it. But the camera's phenomenal. For me, the high ISO noise on this is well handled, and it looks fantastic. And it is noise, it's not grain. The only thing that can have grain is film. Anyway, so I've been using the Voigtlander Apo 50 on this, and it is so perfect that it actually bothered me. Because even at f2, it's clean, it's sharp, tack sharp, and it didn't have, and I hate to use the word character, but it didn't have character. So, I switched over to the Leica 50 Summicron, and it's a funny story. I was going through the Leica LFI galleries, and I came across some photos, and they blew me away on how great they looked. And when I looked up the camera information, it was the Leica M11 and the Summicron, and I just couldn't believe that, this lens, the last time it was updated was 1979 for the optical formula, 94 for, some other, design changes. But technically this optical formula is from 1979. And, so I was very hesitant even thinking about the Summicron for the M11, because I figured it's not going to be able to render 60 megapixels. It was so wrong. So I picked up the Summicron and did some tests with it, and I did a shoot with it in studio. And the benefit of the Summicron at f2 is it is sharp, very, very good sharpness, and it gives the skin just a look. Even though it's not soft, it just has a look to it, but it still remains sharp. And I really can't explain it any other way than that. But I love the rendering from it so much. It doesn't look digital. I think that's the best way to explain it. And when I stop this down for critical sharpness, down to 5.6 or f8, I get critical sharpness for my commercial work, which I'm absolutely thrilled with. So after picking up the Summicron, I immediately picked up the 35 Summicron as well, and they're the two lenses I'm going with. I do have a Voigtlander 90 Apo and a Voigtlander 21 color scope R. And I use the 21, for events and so forth. I use it quite a lot, actually. And the 90 I will use for portraits, when I need that distance, or, if the subject requires that kind of compression. But, so 60, like I said, is fantastic. 36 is just great for, I honestly, when I set it to 36 and I don't think about it, I forget that it was 36 megapixels. So I really do love that. So that brings this camera to, 3 cameras in one. If you want a social media camera, it's 18 megapixels, everyday camera, 36 megapixels, and if you're doing commercial work, 60 megapixels. You got everything right there. Now, the VisiFlex, the new one, is wonderful. I like shooting with a rangefinder because that's why I got a rangefinder, and I'm good at it. But if I'm going to throw an Apo lens on like the 90, I want to be able to focus a lot better than with the rangefinder, because 90 millimeter with a rangefinder is, it's a hit and miss sometimes. And I get more hits than misses, but it's a lot easier if I'm using that. Now, obviously I can't use that with a flash because I have the remote on here, but it's fantastic. So as far as studio work and, commercial work and using this professionally, 100% yes. The backup is the internal memory. I had to use it twice, and not because it was a bad card, because I forgot a card. But the nice part about that as well is if you have your camera set to shoot RAW on your card and JPEG in camera, in the internal memory, and you do forget a card, it'll automatically turn the internal into DNG, RAW. So you don't have to worry about that. You're not going to get straight JPEGs, because I have it set to DNG on card, JPEG in camera. But if you forget a card, it's going to DNG in camera. So I love that. And you just throw a card in, copy it to the card, and put it in your computer, and you have it. Now pricing, I know everybody bitches about the pricing on these, and do the math. If you're getting a pro camera, a Sony A1 or Nikon Z9 or Canon R3 and some lenses, you're at the same price. No matter what anybody, you're still at the same price. I love shooting manual focus. I absolutely love it. I had the R5 and it was a fantastic camera. The lenses were spectacular, but I prefer manual focusing. I prefer to be more part of the image process of capturing the images than just point and shoot. And that camera, you just can't miss. It's a no-brainer. If you point it in the right direction and hold down the button, you're getting a shot because it's that good. With this camera, I have to work for the images, and I enjoy that because it makes me think about the images. Anyway, so that is my quick overview of this camera. I'm looking forward, I know there's going to be upgrades with the pixel binning, and I'm looking forward to where that's going to go. Because I think there's a lot more with that just hasn't been released in an update yet. And I think it really is going to help dynamic range and low light performance, but we will see. And as far as the Summicron lenses, if you're hesitant to get them with a 60 megapixel, do not be hesitant because they are really that good. And like I said, I'll just show you some images at the end of this, and you can see for yourself. But I'm very impressed with this camera so far. But that's it. I just wanted to give you a quick update on the M11. If you have any questions about it, don't hesitate to ask. I don't mind answering anything. And I'll talk to you soon.